guys, it's Melody. Welcome back to my channel. I'll be continuing my Sailor Moon streak and reviewing the two-part movie, Pretty Guardian Sailor Moon Eternal, while I plan out my next weekly spread. Disclaimer, this is going to be a review full of spoilers, so beware. Without further ado, let's get to bullet journaling. Another disclaimer, as much as I want to call them by their English names, I will respectfully call them by their names as said within the movie. First of all, if you did not know, Sailor Moon Eternal is a two-part movie that tells one story, the Dream Arc. It did much more than our Sailor Scouts fighting evil by moonlight or winning love by daylight. It's a mix of Sailor Moon Super S and the movie Black Dream Hole because of the very Chibi-Usa-centric storyline that focused on dreams, childhood, and love. It's set after the third season of Sailor Moon Crystal, so it's considered to be the fourth season. I've already reviewed my opinion about Crystal in my previous video, but I just want to repeat that Crystal wasn't a continuation of the original Sailor Moon series, it was a total reboot and not a remake. With the goal of producing a TV version of Takeuchi's manga, let's just say it's much more of a faithful adaptation to the manga, just like series Fullmetal Alchemist Brotherhood with no fillers. Sailor Moon Crystal Season 3, on the other hand, is a vast improvement made with much more attention to detail. While animation got improved, there is still room for improvement. It showed the redemption of Sailor Moon Eternal. The movie is broken up into two parts. The first part is where Usagi and Chibi-Usa meet Pegasus during a solar eclipse. Then Pegasus introduces himself as Helios and claims to be looking for the chosen maiden who can break the seal of the golden crystal. He appears in Chibi-Usa's dream and asks for help with the mysterious Dead Moon Circus arriving in Japan during the solar eclipse. Their ruler, Queen Nehelenia, wants to take over the world by trapping humans in nightmares, claiming the throne to the kingdom of the moon and ruling the earth and the universe, just like every other villain out there in the Sailor Moon universe. The Dead Moon Circus is the main antagonist group, complete with the evil Queen Nehelenia at the top, Old Lady Zirconia, and villain additions such as the Amazon Trio and the Amazones Quartet. As for the second part, each Guardian gets a chance to shine against the Dead Moon Circus and pieces of their past and dreams are revealed. Looking at the Sailor soldiers as individuals was one of the strongest parts of the movie in my opinion. Looking into their hopes and dreams, each Guardian is at their own crossroads now that they've entered young adulthood. They've come to a place where they start evaluating their personal wants and their responsibilities and duties as protectors of the Moon Princess. This makes it more than just a story all about Usagi, nor is it all about Chibi-Usa's show. The next section of my review is going to be a mix of character development, fashion, clear differences, voices, and really anything really because I did view both movies in sub and dub. I'll try to keep each character short and sweet, but no promises. I'll start off with Chibi-Usa because she ultimately was introduced first. I'm glad that they expanded on Chibi-Usa's story where she had a desire to grow up into a strong, beautiful young lady just like her mom. Doing this means confronting her own feelings of inadequacy and really abandoning her affections, or rather romantic affections, for Mamoru, which is her dad after all. I wish I still saw more of that sass she had in previous seasons. She seemed too cutesy even though she is, but glad she wasn't entirely annoying like previous series. I did still found Usagi and Chibi-Usa's jealousy toward each other odd, but it's always been like that. As for Usagi, I thought her voice actor did an awesome job. She was the perfect amount of crybaby, but not overly whiny like Crystal. Even though Crystal Season 3 was a lot much better, Usagi's own inner desire to revert to a responsibility-free childhood reminded me of the Black Dream Hole movie, but isn't explored in a way that I would consider meaningful. The saving grace for me was her love story with Mamoru, even though I still secretly ship her and Seiya, but it's like I completely forgot all about him when I watched the Destined Lovers' Love Evolved. For Mamoru, or Mamo-chan, I'm glad that they finally gave justice to his entire storyline, more than just Tuxedo Mask, but Prince Endymion and his relationship of Elysian. His character struggled as he plagued with the fear of man in distress, so he thought he was not good enough for Usagi, and of course does what Mamoru does best by pushing her away. Even though he was pretty useless in the movie, wish I saw at least one of his roses pierce the ground, but it's not called Tuxedo Mask Eternal, it's called Sailor Moon Eternal for a reason. In conversation with his fashion sense, I was not a fan of his outfit choices, even though they were a continuation of Crystal. Was not a fan of his bland black on black colors. I loved his choices of colors in the old anime, that classic olive colored blazer with a black turtleneck and purplish denim high-rise jeans. I get that it is the 21st century, but I mean, 90s look is coming back into fashion. Next up, we have Helios, and I honestly hated Helios for Chibiusa. I've said this before, and I'll say it again, I prefer her and Pereru from Black Dream Hole. I didn't think that kiss on the lips was appropriate because she's like barely even 10, and Helios maybe look 14, maybe even older. The kiss on the cheek could have sufficed rather than the lips, but Eternal really did give justice to Helios' story. He wasn't just a horse popping in and galloping out of Chibiusa's dreams, but he was introduced within the human form, even though he kind of looked like Mitsuki from Boruto. But I found it interesting that they gave him the priest title and all that, and especially since him and Mamoru have the same heart. Moving on to Guardians, or at least specifically the Inner Guardians. I love the inclusion of their sprites because they resemble the Sailor Guardians and gave a sense of encouragement. Of course, the Sailor Power Guardians never appeared in Super S, but as they're fighting villains and trying to save the world, they're also fighting their own demons as imposter syndrome, but as the villains prey on their false fears and real insecurities. For Amy, or Ami, it is nice when the series acknowledged the main characters' lives outside the guardian duties. Amy seemed to have more repressed fears about rejection and being neglected by her dad. It kind of reminded me of Marceline when she sings the "Daddy, Why Don't You Love Me" song, but this really helped provide the strength she needs to overcome the villain's trap. For Rei, not sure if you guys agree, but I thought Mini Rei sounded like it would suit Mini Moon Stubbs' voice. But anyway, for Rei, she's under the social pressure of her peers who want to be married and in love, as opposed to her own dreams of taking her grandfather's temple. And can we talk about Grandpa first? I prefer the short little creepy grandpa from the old anime. By all means, I am not promoting creepy predators, but I just found them funny and a form of comic relief. Just wish he wasn't suddenly character changed very drastically. I just thought it wasn't appropriate. But going back to Rei, I love the crows, Phobos, and Deimos that were Rei's familiars, much like Artemis and Luna are for Mina and Usagi. For Mako, on the other hand, being the strongest of the inner Sailor Senshi, she is the most vulnerable. She has dreams of being beautiful and strong, opening her store, falling in love, but suffers from a fear of inadequacy where she starts reevaluating her personal wants. She's afraid she won't be able to realize her true dreams as long as she has a sole duty as protector for the Moon Princess. It was a good representation of facing her anxiety of wanting to have it all versus putting in the work to get it. Minako, or Mina, on the other hand, struggles with insecurity as the leader of the Inner Guardians after she loses her ability to transform. Despite the fact that Usagi is Princess Serenity, sometimes you often forget that Mina is the leader because she is last mentioned in the group. Her insecurities eat her up more than as the other members of the team keep bringing up the outer senshi. It was a great way to expand her story and reminding the audience that she is the leader of the Sailor Scouts. I loved how Artemis quickly snaps her out of her brainwashing and finally regained her ability to transform into Sailor Venus with that partner love, reminding her that her journey can't be traveled alone, but rather one that she had to take with those around her. Let's move on to the Sailor Kitties. Artemis's human form, though, was immaculate. That was super unexpected, along with Luna and Diana. I absolutely love Luna's human form design, even though she did become a human temporarily in the Sailor Moon S movie, but it was really great to see her again in her cute copycat buns. I wish they had their original dub voices, especially Luna's British Nagy voice. I think it's super iconic. I wish Diana still had her high pitchy voice, as well as Artemis with his cool cat voice. But what I don't understand was the eye color change. Luna used to have red, now she has blue. Artemis used to have blue, now he has green. And Diana used to be lavender, now she has gray fur, which I kind of understand because black and white equals gray. But Chibi Usa has pink hair. Don't understand. But I wish they did change up on the cat art style because it didn't look like they were cats. They looked more like bobbleheads. I think the original form resembled cats more in my opinion. Now let's move on to the fan favorites, Outer Guardians. They don't enter this scene until the second part, where we finally are treated to canon queer couple of Michiru and Haruka, and not some weird cousin thing they gave us in the 90s. The couple are shown to have taken their relationship to the next level and finally giving the audience the characters, the stories, and the emotions that were banned when we were kids. It was within the second part of the film that the Outer Scouts highlighted their life after they took Hotaru, who was reincarnated as a baby, and settled down. I love that Pluto, Neptune, and Uranus all stayed together to help raise the young Saturn to maturity, which is symbolized by their promise rings. But Haruka and Michiru, it seems more than a promise ring, but a commitment to each other as a romantic couple. Both Eternal movies don't shy away from Haruka's non-binary approach to gender and her relationship with Michiru. But of course, things change when Saturn's growth spurt kicks in and the Outer Scouts will find their way back to battle, but finally they showed Sailor Saturn's full elaborate transformation sequence, which was never revealed in the early anime before. I love how Hotaru said mommy and daddy. That literally pulled my heartstrings. I love how they expanded on their arc by realizing that their duty is what binds them all together. No matter who they are, they will always be Sailor Guardians at heart. And of course, as each Sailor Guardian realizes what their dream is, they receive a new power-up, which leads to a series of awesome transformations that never gets old to watch. While the original 90s anime took liberties in adapting Takeuchi's manga, such as completely changing Queen Helenia's backstory, Sailor Moon Eternal is essentially an exact retelling of the Dream arc. The movie's big baddie is Nehelenia reminded me so much of Maleficent once they showed this new backstory. They look alike, talk alike, heck they even act alike because of the mirror mirror on the wall shenanigans. Minus the cute little girl version of herself, I did appreciate getting to see much more life in the Silver Millennium and enjoyed how the evil queen shaped to current events. In the end, Nehelenia is defeated with the power of friendship, love, and magic. Even though my boyfriend did say they are glorified Care Bears. But I did enjoy watching the Amazonas Quartet being revealed as the Asteroid Sailor Scouts and finally freed from their imprisonment of cursed nightmares. So overall, even after 20 plus long years, this new Sailor Moon movie is by far the most beautiful Sailor Moon I have seen so far. The beats are there, the character development, the power-ups, the faithful transformation sequences, the villains, the cat-human forms, the Amazonas entire storyline, Chibi Usa's entire storyline, and finally, Mamoru's entire storyline. It looks gorgeous, smooth, and beautiful. Definitely the best looking Sailor Moon installment out there. Of course, it's rushed a bit, and obviously there were cuts made considering the short and total runtime. I wish there was at least another 20 or so minutes, but still it was clear that there was a labor of love that Crystal's team worked to improve dramatically from the series. But we got to see Queen Serenity again with a new revamped look. the Sailor Scouts as their own princesses and their final eternal star forms. We got to meet Helios and the Astro Sailor Scouts. It just really feels like a blast from the past. Overall, I give Sailor Moon Eternal Parts 1 and 2 the seal of redemption and the seal of approval. It reminded me of everything I've ever loved about Sailor Moon's story and contains some powerful messages about what it means to follow one's dream or follow someone's heart. Fans of Sailor Moon, both old and new, will love both parts of this movie. And here is my final spread of Baby Sailor Moon and Baby Queen Nehelnia. But thank you guys so much for watching and for listening to my review on the 2-part movie, Sailor Moon Eternal. Like I said before, these are my opinions. Let me know in the comments down below if you agree or disagree, what you think about the movie. Did you like it? Did you hate it? Did you have mixed feelings about it? But don't forget to subscribe, like, comment down below, and see you next video. Bye!